This is the day the Lord has made. Good morning. How many of y'all find yourselves sometimes you're getting up in the morning and you're starting to realize, "Ooh, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling either the age, I'm feeling the challenge of I'm feeling the challenge of stress. I'm feeling limited resources. I'm feeling that there's a delay. I'm feeling something. I'm feeling something. How many of you this morning, you don't always wake up inspired. You don't always wake up pumped, right? But I must say this to you, man. I must say this to you. You've got to do the work to get to that level. It doesn't automatically happen. Okay. It doesn't automatically happen. And so this morning we're doing this continual teaching on the ugly truth, and you don't want to miss what we're going to dive into this morning. Okay. I truly believe that self-reflection is a critical part of living life effectively. I truly believe that there are these times we must unplug and disconnect and literally lean in to identifying what's truly going on. What's truly going on. This morning, I want to talk about the insecurities that we have, the ugly truth about insecurities. Okay? The ugly truth about insecurities. The crazy thing about insecurity is that everybody has it. Everybody has some form of insecurity. Everybody feels a little unsure at times. And so if insecurity is your thing, and we're going to dive into this, actually, matter of fact, I want to do a two-part teaching on this, because if you're insecure and you are trying to hide it, it's the elephant in the room for you. It's the skeleton in the closet. It's going to hold you back. It's going to hold you back. Now, here's what you got to remember. Everybody deals with insecurity. Everybody deals with insecurities. But what we're going to talk about this morning is learning to manage it. Everybody, write that down. Everybody deals with insecurities. But the goal here is, on your journey to living life effectively, it is learning to manage your insecurities. Now, have you identified your insecurities? See, and have you captured the understanding that insecurities is not necessarily bad because all of us have it. Insecurity, Miss Linda, insecurity, Miss Jocelyn, is bad when we allow it to overtake us. And I'm going to talk about that, because if everybody has insecurities, why is some people still thriving? That's because they're not allowing their insecurities to paralyze them. Okay, they're not allowing their insecurities to paralyze them. I wrote this down. Okay, as human beings, we're constantly thinking, and there are thoughts that are constantly going through our minds of doubt. We're questioning ourselves. Okay, we're questioning ourselves, and what that questioning is doing, it's either helping us or hurting us. Okay, insecurity is real. Too much insecurity can lead to problems with your relationship and everyday life. Okay? Too much insecurity can cause massive problems in your relationships, and can cause a lot of problems in your personal life, in your everyday life. And there are a lot of people, because they have not addressed the high level of insecurities that they have not really worked on. And a lot of times, we're going to talk a little bit about this, but a lot of times along the way, while you were being raised, while you were growing up, while you were in a culture or community, while you were doing life with some people, what they didn't realize, they were feeding your insecurities. They were feeding your insecurity. So for me, I hated the fact that while I was growing up as a kid, I had big head. But my head is my head. What can I do with it? Okay. I have a nice full size nose. It's mine. What can I do with it? I remember when I first decided that I'm going to let my beard grow out and I'm not going to dye it and I'm going to allow it to have the salt and pepper show the gray because it's mine, right? And I can remember the different times where I struggle. Cut it off, Ricardo, cut it off. Because you know what it's going to do if you cut it off? It'll make you look 10 years younger. It'll make you look 10 years younger. The truth is, I am the age that I am. I am the age that I am. And we live in a society, we live in a world where people want to look a certain kind of way rather than making sure at the very core that they are okay. You want to make sure that you're okay at your core. It's not about perception. Perception has to be managed because what people perceive of you really does play some part in actually who you are and where you're going to some degree. But at your very core, you got to know that you're okay. Don't allow yourself to be caught up on a perceptional position that you're living a fake life. You're not real. You're not honest. That's not really you. And let me tell you something, that's a part of insecurities as well. There are a lot of people who you see them trying to present, that's not quite who they are. As a matter of fact, they don't even like who they are. As a matter of fact, they're beating themselves up on behind the scene. I don't know why I wore that. I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I did that. How many of y'all, come on. How many of y'all have heard people do that? How many of y'all? How many of y'all? Now, at your very core, that's what you wanted to wear, but now you went out and now you're questioning what you wore. Listen, you wanted to say that. You said what you wanted to say, but now you're questioning why you said it. That's what you really wanted to do, and you signed up to do it, and now you're feeling some kind of way about having done it. Because you know what? A lot of people haven't taken the time to identify and own and accept where they are. Okay? So insecurity is a feeling of inadequacy. Okay? Not being enough. Man, you would be amazed how many people don't feel like they're enough. I can remember struggling with insecurities for so long that I was doing the things I prayed for, yet I was doubting myself and I was struggling with accepting who I was in my journey. Linda, about 15, probably 18 years ago, I made some customized suits for children's ministry. I'm talking about, I had a guy, professional tailor. He said, I feel called to make suits for you. I feel called, I feel like my assignment is to make some nice suits for you. And I said, well, if you can make a really good suit, why don't you make me a suit that represents a children's minister? And I says, I went to the store and I got me some children material. And I had this guy made me some suits with children material fabric. Okay, I'm talking about nice suits. I'm talking about my name in the suit. Somebody would have paid $1,000 for that suit, but I had that suit. Pastor Bradacles, hey, you remember that suit? Listen, Pastor, I remember going to Detroit and I was speaking at a convention and I walk on the elevator and boy, did those people laugh at me. People laugh. I kept walking down the lobby. I know I look good. I knew I looked good, but nobody was doing it at the time. And let me tell you this, I went up, I spoke, fame and recognition came to my space a little bit more because I was standing out. I went to a big pastors conference. I had my other suit. I had about 4 of those suits customly made. Nice. As a matter of fact, I was skeptical about getting rid of those suits. I had one made during the Christmas season, full suit that was a Christmas attire. Okay, full suit. This is 15, 18 years ago, right? And eventually, because of the giggling and because of the laughter and because of the little light jeers that I could sense that was coming from different angles, I got rid of the suits. Well, I was in a store last week and in a suit store, and guess what they have? They have customized Christmas suits like what I created 18 years ago. I was in Walmart a few months back, and guess what they have? They have high customized suits. and clothing made similar to the same concept that I created. And now people are doing it. As a matter of fact, there was a trend that came out, what they call ugly sweaters. And it became a trend because as long as everybody's doing it, it's a thumbs up. But when you're the minority or when you're the only one, you're going to have some backbone to realize you've been called to birth and establish something maybe no one else had. What I did wasn't actually new. What I did wasn't actually, I wasn't the first one. I was influenced by a guy, Pastor Claire. You might have remembered the guy. Put his name in the comment section. I think he owned a cleaning company, and I think he died a millionaire in the Bahamas, but he was outside of the box. He actually had his clothes custom made where it was very colorful. I don't know if you remember that gentleman, Pastor Claire, but if you're from the Bahamas, especially more so Nassau, you would remember this guy who pushed out a concept of being himself. Today, we're talking about insecurities. Okay, today we're talking about insecurities. Insecurities is a feeling of inadequacies, not feeling enough, and uncertainty. What I've discovered, Angela, is everybody struggles with some form of insecurities. Everybody struggles with some form of insecurity. The crazy thing about it is, the thing you're insecure about, somebody is actually leaning into wanting. Let me say it again. The crazy thing about what you are insecure about, somebody, okay? Pastor Clay, I know you would have remembered his name. His name was Frank Hanna. You are correct. Frank Hanna. That was the guy who I was inspired to come up with those clothing that was very colorful for children's ministry. And I was ahead of my time. Now, you go on Walmart right now, they got a full suit for a guy. That's a Christmas suit. I had that thing 18 years ago. But I threw out the concept and I moved away from it, Angela, because I thought I was being laughed at. I thought that, boy, Miller, you pushing the envelope too much. And then there were people sneering and giggling and insecurities. Insecurities are real. And so everybody deals with insecurities from time to time. Okay, it can appear in all areas of life. It can appear from all areas of life. It may stream from a traumatic event, a pattern of previous experiences, social conditioning, learning rules from observing others, and or local environments such as school, work, and homes. How many of y'all know Yes, she said, Olivia said, I remember Frank Hanna. I was influenced by Frank Hanna in the children's ministry space. I said, wouldn't it be decent? Would it be cool to go ahead and make those nice custom suits? I did it. And it was a game changer. It got me some real recognition, but I pulled back. And let me tell you something. I'm 48 years old, and you'll be amazed the amount of pullback that I have pulled back over the years because of insecurities, because I was afraid. I can remember standing in front of about 3,000 people. I had 2 sessions to be a keynote speaker. I did the opening session, and then I was doing a middle section at this conference. And I can remember preparing for the conference, and I wanted to be like everybody else. So I went ahead and dressed like everybody else and trying to PowerPoint like everybody else. And somebody said, it's okay to learn from others, but you should never be them. You should never want to be them. It's okay to learn what would best fit you, what will enhance you in being you. That's the goal. When you're learning from others, you're not trying to be them. You're trying to enhance you. You're trying to figure out what about them that's good that I can learn from that actually will enhance me. That's the part that we get from others. But boy, I stood on that platform. I dressed like I had never dressed before. I tried a PowerPoint like I'd never tried a PowerPoint before. I tried the laser stick, and I'm talking, I'm going to do it different because this is 3,000 leaders out there, and they're here to hear me bring a presentation that, I need to blow this out of the water. And ladies and gentlemen, I went out there and I'm telling you, it just went wrong. Every bit of it went wrong. As a matter of fact, Angela, it went wrong when I started sweating. Okay, when I started sweating and somebody realized I was sweating so much, They brought me tissue paper, but then I went to wipe the tissue paper, and tissue paper stuck to my forehead, and it was just not good, man. It was so not good. And then when I finished my presentation, when I was leaving the auditorium, you had people, be encouraged, brother. Hey, be encouraged. You ain't did that good when you get people saying, be encouraged, brother. Right? But here's the deal. I can remember going to my hotel room and I felt some kind of way, okay? I felt some kind of way. And I remember calling, I remember calling my spiritual dad. I remember calling Apostle Wells to tell him, man, I don't know. I think I messed up. When you didn't do right, right? When you didn't do right. And I said, boy, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go back out there. He said, listen, they called you. They called Ricardo Miller. Give them Ricardo Miller. I remember, Angela, I went back out the next day or two when I had to do my last session. I rolled up my sleeve. I asked the guy to give me some opening Caribbean music. And I went out there and I was Ricardo Miller. I said, go out there and be you. Remind yourself, listen, you are not like any other presenters. Did you know 5 consecutive years after that, they kept booking me. I kept going back. And I remember coming off of that stage after the second session. And one lady said to me, she's still a good friend. She said, where was that guy during the first session? Where was that guy doing the first session? This morning, I want to talk about a couple of things, types of insecurities. There are almost unlimited amount of insecurities out there that it's just hard to number them all, but I want to talk about a few of them. Okay. Number 1, job insecurities. Okay. Number 2, relationship insecurities. Okay. Number 3, body insecurity. Number 4, social insecurity. This is anxiety. Then there is signs of insecurities where there is low or there is low or superficial self-esteem. So we have this low self-esteem or we have superficial self-esteem. Both of them have based within them insecurities. Then we have perfectionism is a form of insecurity. There's something a lot of people haven't gotten to at the core as to why they're still struggling with perfectionism. And then self-isolation. Self-isolation. Why aren't you willing to get out there? Why won't you go out there? Why won't you put yourself out there? You have the goods. You have the good. How many of y'all know somebody who can bake a good bake? How many of y'all know somebody who can outbake everybody you know that can bake? But they won't put a price on it, and they won't put a sign on it, and they won't extend the option of selling it because there is this internal, it's not that good for sale. What you mean it's not that good for sale? Everybody who has eaten it said it was the best. How many of you have met somebody, they got the voice of an angel, and you said, man, you need to record something, you need to sing, and they're just not leaning in on it. Once again, everybody has insecurities. The difference is some people have learned how to move beyond their insecurities and to manage themselves above their insecurities, to not allow it to cripple them, to not allow it to paralyze them. So what you and I have to do is we have to identify, okay, what am I dealing with? Am I dealing with low self-esteem for a long time? So Pastor Claire, I remember meeting somebody, they said, Miller, you walk in like you own the place. You know how long it took me to walk in to accept who I am? I'm not walking in like I own the place. I'm walking in like I am who I am, but by the grace of God. I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I know who I am now. And my God, think about this. Who's going to agree with me this morning? Who think about it? At 48 years old, when am I going to learn how to walk into a room? When am I going to learn how to accept my gifts and what I bring to the table? When are you going to own what you bring to the table? Somebody said, well, you walk in like you own the place. You need to walk in like you own the place. As a matter of fact, sometime I might have owned the place. Now, if you are doing well, you need to learn how to embrace the fact that you are doing well. And then where you're not doing well, you bow aside and salute those who are doing well where you're not doing well. See, that's arrogance. Arrogance is believing you're good at all things. and you're trying to show up in a way where nobody can tell you anything. That's a little cocky, that's a little arrogant, that's a little bit too much. However, when you can own the fact that you are good at a few things, but then you're also accepting the fact that you're not good at some things, and you're okay to identify and celebrate and appreciate and recognize and give attention to what you are good at, and you are clearly intact with what you're not good at. Okay? What you're not good at. So I want to challenge you today. Okay? I want to challenge you today. Look at what is it that I've struggled with? That's an insecurity that has held me back. And then watch this. A lot of what you wish you could get rid of, others are desiring. I remember one time I was speaking, and the Bahamas, coming from the islands, we got the accent and we got certain words we would use. And I said tree, and the guy said, ha 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 ha, you heard what he just said. And he was playing off of it. And I remember I felt some kind of way. Okay, I remember I felt some kind of way. Angela, and the fella kept cracking jokes about my accent. Kept cracking jokes about my accent. And because of my insecurities, it started to do something within me. Because of my insecurity. And I wanted to snap at him. I just really wanted to just go and say, hey, say something again. Say it, right? And I realized, one, that's not how to manage the situation. And so I remember going up to the podium. I was doing a leadership workshop, and I said, hey guys, I'm from the Bahamas. I'm Ricardo Miller, and I have an accent. And I said, for those of you who have traveled would know that everybody sounds funny somewhere. And it was like the Holy Spirit gave me that smart response. If for those of you who have traveled, who have been outside of your city, outside of your town, would know that everybody sounds funny somewhere. But for those of you who have not traveled, the only thing you have heard is the same thing. And so now the one person who came in that sounds a little funny, you want to crack a joke. But you got insecurities too, because you're afraid to get out of this town. You're afraid to get out of this city, right? And so I'm here today to tell you, everybody has insecurities. Now, here's what your insecurities will do. It will keep you from maximizing your potential. It will talk you out of your greatness. Okay? Your insecurity, okay, will keep you back from maximizing your potential. Your insecurities will keep you from maximizing your potential. You got to get to that point, Angela. You got to get to that point. Okay, Olivia, you got to get to that point where you start talking to yourself. I was born for this. Okay, this is my opportunity. This is my chance. You listen, I no one can do what I do. Okay, I'm not good at everything, but I'm good at something. Okay, I don't have what everybody else have, but the truth is somebody is wanting what I have. Somebody is wanting to lean in. Someone is praying for what I'm skeptical about and still struggling with. I am struggling. I feel this in the Holy Ghost right now. Listen, I was struggling with it. I had the opportunity to do it. I was doing it. I was being paid for it and still struggling with the insecurities of accepting it. I'm helping somebody this morning. Insecurities are real and everybody has them. Now it's your ability to manage them and not allow your insecurities to corner you to a degree where you will never raise your hands or give yourself a chance to embrace your greatness. All of us have greatness within us. Unfortunately, some of us were raised, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow, some of us were raised in environments that fed our insecurities. Some of us were raised in environments where you shy. Nobody will ever ask you to speak. You know what I mean? No, I heard a guy told his wife, nobody will ever pay you to do that. I heard a guy told his wife, no one will ever pay you to do that. I was like, ooh, that's harsh. Ooh, that's strong. And then I had to, a little soldier road in me had to come out and I say, hold on, bro, hold on, what you mean nobody? Come on, that's too harsh. Oh well, she ain't that good. Oh, come on. Have you been around? Well, I haven't. That's not the space that. Well, shut up. You're talking about a space you don't know. This person actually could be. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who shoots. Somebody said, well, Ricardo Miller got charisma, but he don't have a platform. There are a lot of people who don't got no charisma and they got bigger platforms than I am. You know what I'm saying? So there are others who can actually be bigger than you and actually you're better than them in that of a certain gift or a talent or an ability. So to tell this lady she will never be paid or never be able to have success in this particular area was not true. It was not true. So now, after you've heard somebody say, nobody will ever pay you to do that, nobody will ever ask you to do that, who do you think you are? I remember somebody asking me that. Who do you think you are? Why did you put your picture on a shirt? I put my well, why do we have Magic Johnson on a shirt? Why do we have Michael Jackson on a shirt? Why we have Whitney Houston on a shirt? Why we got Oprah on a shirt? Why we got, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, hold on. I'm me. They are that. Somebody told me, Melissa, somebody, well, why you put your picture on your book? If I was you, I wouldn't do that. Well, I'm glad you're not me. You know how long it took me to build up the nerve to even try to produce a book. Then I produced a number book, and then I thought, boy, wouldn't it be nice one day to have my face on the cover of a book? I had to work through that. Insecurities are real. Now I want to go to that 7-figure living lifestyle. And I'm like, okay, one of the things that I really know is a secret sauce for me is if I teach it, I'm going to live it. If I live it, it's going to fully manifest in my life. Let me say that again. What I found, come on, Miss Jocelyn, it is my book. Watch this, Miss Jocelyn. What I found to be my secret sauce. What's the thing to Ricardo that brings Ricardo to the top every time is one, if I teach it, I'm going to pursue living it. If I pursue living it, it's going to manifest itself in my life. So here's what I'm pursuing in 2024, 7-figure income levels. I'm talking, I want to go to that level where I'm like, okay, how do you make $1 million a year? Now, that's no rocket science anymore. That's not a hard thing to do. Why in the world at 48, I'm just now tapping into how to make it within a year? I've already made it over the years, but I hadn't figured out how to compact it to 12 months. Okay, I haven't figured out how to make sure that the majority is being kept by me, that it's a business, that it is a legitimate process that I can look and see and appreciate, and my family can be rewarded by the service that I bring to humanity. And that's really what it's about. It's a service. It's about value. It's about value you bring to the marketplace. It's about service. And so I'm here today to tell you, deal with your insecurities. We're going to talk more about it tomorrow because the ugly truth is everybody has insecurities. Everybody has insecurities. Now, here's what you can do. You can start paying attention to what are your insecure places or positions. And then we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Why do you have that position? Where did it come from? And what you should do to get better handle on the insecurities that's been keeping you back from the greatness within. God bless you guys. I'll see you all tomorrow, same time. You don't want to miss it. Bye-bye.